Hey guys, Reese here and welcome back to my channel. So I, like many other people aspiring to financial success, set the goal to become a millionaire by age 30. However, a lot of times when we set this goal, we're young. We're in high school, maybe college, or maybe, day one of our first job fresh out of college. We set this goal. We want to be a millionaire. We want to be financially free. However, we don't set a goal or a plan to achieve that goal, before you turn 30. It's just kind of a wish at this point. And while $1 million is certainly not what it used to be 50 years ago, $1 million, I think all of you would agree, is still very difficult to achieve by the age of 30, no matter what age you're starting at. Well, I had this goal since I was 18 years old. Fresh into college, I decided I want to be a millionaire, not by 30, but by 25 years old. Well, I hate to say that I'm now 26, almost 27 here in March, and my net worth is a measly $243,000, which to many of you might seem like a lot, but that's a far cry from the $1 million goal I had 2 years ago. And the reason for this is that I set the goal at 18, but I had no plan to follow to achieve that goal by 25. It was kind of something I told myself, and it made me feel good. It made me feel like I was working towards something, achieving something. I'm gonna be a millionaire by 25, and maybe I can do some busy work, but nothing that's really adhering to a plan, getting me to that, final milestone, the millionaire by 25. And of course, myself, like many people, I got distracted by a couple lovely ladies in college, and before you know it, I'm 23, living in Cleveland, working my first job as a computer engineer, and pretty much the same spot financially that I was in when I was 18, 5 years earlier, maybe a little bit more student debt actually, but not at all close to that goal I set. And so when I was 23, I realized, shoot, I have no way to get to this goal by 25. So, unfortunately, I changed that goal. I said, 25 was ambitious. I'm going to do millionaire by 30. But this time I did something different. This time I created a plan to achieve that by 30, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. Before we dive into that plan, guys, I want to ask you to please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot, and I'd love to see all those likes and comments on the video down below. So thank you so much. All right, so like I said, when I was 23, I realized how woefully behind I was on my goal to becoming a millionaire by 25. I had kind of dipped my toe into multiple business ventures, some online businesses, selling a product, but none of these business ventures held my interest enough to really be able to push through when they got difficult and make these businesses profitable. And unfortunately, because I failed at a couple different businesses, and by fail, I mean gave up too early and they did not become profitable, I felt that, maybe I just don't have the grit to become, successful financially. I just can't stick with something long enough. And so this is actually the first time I decided, real estate is gonna be the way I make my money, investing in real estate specifically. My thought back then was, if I commit $200,000 to purchasing a rental property, I can't give up on that. I'm locked into long-term debt. I need to make it profitable, so it doesn't matter if I have grit or not, I need to succeed. And whether or not that was naive thinking at the time, it's worked so far. I needed to go big in order to remain interested in what I was doing. And that's as true today as it was back then. Back then, a duplex I thought was big and that made me nervous. Now I'm trying to do 10 or 15 units because I've done a couple duplexes, I'm starting to get bored again, right? And so, back then I committed, I made the plan, I moved to Columbus because, I had a couple friends who were already succeeding flipping houses. I wanted to learn from them. And so I picked up shop, quit my job, bought my first duplex in Columbus, moved down here, and I was off and running. And I still kind of had the same mistake here where I didn't really have any long-term plan yet. I knew real estate was the way to go. I took action, I bought the first duplex. But I've moved very slow over the last 2.5 years. I've only bought 3 duplexes with a partner. So really, I own 3 units, and they've been large value add deals. So we spent a lot of time renovating, and I was coming out of pocket. I didn't have much money, so we did a lot of the work ourselves. However, because I didn't have a plan, I didn't have any goals, annual goals, I pushed pretty slowly those first couple years. So, that's my past, a little bit of my background coming from 23, knowing I'm not hitting my goal of millionaire by 25, up until the present. Goal now, millionaire by 30. And let's talk about the plan, my present plan, into the future. Now, the method to becoming a millionaire has not changed. Real estate is still what I'm passionate about, the area of interest that I'm going to make my money in to achieve that goal. However, I need to define a plan so that I can start setting annual goals that adhere to that plan so that every year I can kind of reflect and see, hey, did I make it? Did I not? Did I come up short? And then readjust for the next year. That way 3 years don't fly by and I'm 30 with the same mistake I made back in my 20s, early 20s, not hitting my goal. So let's dive right in. My plan from an acquisition side, from buying units of rental property. I'm gonna put up on the screen here a spreadsheet that I made back in 2018 when I bought my first property. I bought my first duplex April of 2018. I created this spreadsheet to help me track my net worth, track my income, track the equity I create through these rental properties, and then also help plan for the future. And so we see here, according to this spreadsheet, which does change very often, but this is the general outline of what I need to do in 2021 up until I'm 30. 2021, I need to buy a 5-unit building and then a 10-unit building. There's only one problem here. I don't have that kind of money. I'm sitting on around $45,000 right now, and I'm refinancing my latest renovation, which video coming shortly once the appraisal comes in on that one. But I expect to have another 20 grand in my pocket from that. So I'll have 65 grand-ish to play with. That's not nearly enough to buy a 5-unit, 10-unit. What am I gonna do? So my plan instead for the 5-unit, buy a 15-unit property, raise the money from friends, family, colleagues, people interested in investing in real estate, but don't wanna do the work or don't have the expertise to find the deals. I will manage that deal from the asset level, not property manage, asset manage. I found the deal. I will make sure the business plan is executed to completion and therefore creating a successful investment. And in return, I'll take 25 to 30% ownership. The investors will have the remaining 75%. And 15, 18 units, 25% ownership will be my 5 units effectively. And I'll do the same thing for the 10 units. I'll raise the money, I'll buy say a 30 to 40 unit deal, and I will once again retain 25% equity ownership, therefore equaling around 10 units without putting much capital in. I might put a little bit of money in, however, that's not the goal. The goal is to raise money for these acquisitions. And these partnerships, or they could be called syndications if these are passive investors, is a great way to accelerate growth if done correctly and legally. And in 2022, I plan to do more of the same as I grow in confidence and experience and start to build out my reputation in the industry as completing these successful investments. In 2022, I'll buy one large deal. I need effective ownership of 22 units, which could mean I buy something between 60 and 100 units, once again raising money. The cool thing here is that I don't need to purchase 50 duplexes or 50 different transactions. The amount of time it takes to find one good deal is a lot of time, right? So if I can find one good deal that's a 100-unit property, I don't need to find 50 smaller deals, which honestly would be next to impossible. Finally, in 2023, I need effective ownership over 50 units, which would be around a 200-unit property. So each year we see I'm building on what I learned from the previous year. As I gain confidence, I buy larger units. I doubt I could go ahead and buy a 200-unit property right now and have the confidence and the expertise to successfully do that. However, if I go a little bit at a time, 15 units is not much different than a duplex or a 4-unit. And then, 60 units is not much different from a 15 unit, so you build on each purchase. And now we see on this spreadsheet, a very rough estimate of my net worth from these purchases would be $1.4 million at age 30. I want to go big and I want to have a plan B and a plan C, so that way when I get to 30, I'm not looking back and seeing, I came up short. I didn't achieve my goal. I'm now 30. I only live once. I want to, achieve my financial goals along with other goals, which I'll highlight in my 2021 resolution video coming shortly. However, I don't want to look back with disappointment. And so I'm going to aim high. I'm going to have some backup plans. Now, plan B, which is the final thing we're going to cover in this video, is that I plan to increase my sales from the real estate agent side. I don't love real estate sales because, the income is taxed extremely heavily compared to adding value to rental properties, which, can be accessed tax-free through a refinance. But it is important, it's money that I can push into my real estate rental property purchases and accelerate my growth. I also don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. What if I can't find enough units to purchase one year because there's just not enough good deals? I don't want to buy something just to buy it. And so by building up the business from the real estate sales side, I have a little bit of a backup plan, a little bit more wiggle room. And so in 2021, my sales goal is $300,000 in revenue. That would equate to about $250,000 profit after my brokerage fees, after my ad spend that I spend monthly, things like that. Very lofty goal. I have not come close to that in years past. However, I want to aim high once again. If I come up short, I might hit $150,000, $200,000 revenue. But if I aim for only $100,000, my activity level will be gauged based off that $100,000 goal, and I'll come up even shorter if I come up short. So I'd rather aim high and then come up short, hit $200,000. Now, I'm not really looking to increase my revenue beyond that in year 2022. What I'm really looking to do is not distract from my rental property business, but build a side revenue from sales. And so in 2022, the goal is to keep the same $300,000 in revenue, but to automate things and also hire strategically. That way, in 2022, I spend much less time in the business of sales. Revenue does not decrease, remains the same. Maybe my profit goes down to $150,000 to $200,000, but I'm starting to build a business, not necessarily putting all my time and effort into making these sales. That way, finally, in 2023, I can scale that business I've created with the automations, with the procedures in place, and take that to $500,000 maybe in revenue, right? And continue to grow from there without my time being being a necessity in that business. So over those 3 years of sales, the goal is to, after taxes, have around $500,000, $600,000 to play with, and that would put me at a $2 million net worth at 30. Substantially over the 1 million, but once again, I want to aim high and set my activity levels to that $2 million to then, if I come up short, still achieve my $1 million net worth goal. Now, this is my plan to become a millionaire or more by 30. And, as you can see on my YouTube channel, my goal is to document this process to you guys or with you guys on this YouTube channel. And so over the coming, quarters and years, I will continue to put out updates, what's working, what's not working, am I getting ahead of my goal, am I falling behind, things like that, so we can kind of share in this journey, and hopefully you guys can take something away from it, or hopefully you guys can correct me on some videos or give me feedback on what I'm doing, we can grow together. So guys, once again, I'm gonna make a 2021 resolution video here shortly, which will dive into, my financial goals, which I kind of highlighted in this video, but also, my goals around health, around family, around relationships, things like that. So that'll be coming shortly, but that's it for now, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, watching the video. Once again, like and subscribe if you did, really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a happy and safe New Year's, everyone. Really appreciate you guys.